Hey everybody, welcome to the second annual Make Ultimate Guide to 3D Printing Meetup. We are gathering today to celebrate the release of the Make Ultimate Guide to 3D Printing 2014 issue, which is hitting newsstands this week. We got a very fun meetup today with testers from across the country who have worked on this issue, and we're going to hear about their experiences and testing all of the different printers and some of the 3D printing work that they've been doing themselves. But before we get into the different group of testers, I'd like to introduce Anna Kazunas-France, who is the brainchild of this year's 3D printer shootout. Anna,
thanks, Mike.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks. So I'm Anna Kazunas-France. I'm coming to you from the new Make Providence office, and I'm now the digital fabrication editor of Make. And I ran this year's 3D printing shootout. I organized the team and got all the printers to Sebastopol for our weekend shootout for testing. And we'd like to go through now and introduce all the testers to you that were able to participate on the Hangout. We had 15 total testers. We've got a few of them here today. I guess we can go through people in order. Andy Ta, can you introduce yourself and tell us who's there with you?
Yeah, so I'm Andy Ta. I'm currently in Baltimore at the Hackerspace here, Baltimore Node. And I'm here with other notable 3D printers such as Todd Blatt. Todd. Marty McGuire is also in the other room. There's also a lot of action happening in Round general, you know, people making stuff. But yeah, Baltimore, Maryland did a lot of the work on the resin 3D printers, which we'll talk about more in depth later.
Awesome. Chris McCoy, where are you tuning in from?
Hi everybody, so I'm Chris McCoy. I'm in San Ramon, California, and I am part of the San Francisco Tech Shop, so I teach about 3D printing, and had a fun time meeting everybody at this last shootout, and so did a little bit of testing, some last minute testing as well of the Type A machine Series 1, so looking forward to tell everybody about it.
Great, good to see you, Chris. We've got one person that was not part of the testing shootout, but is has done one of the great projects in the this new issue. We got Fred coming in from New York, the great Fredini. So Fred, do a quick introduction to and say hello to everybody.
Can you see me, or am I all dark?
You are dark right now.
Yeah.
Silhouetted.
There we go.
Much better.
Autocorrect. Hi, this is Fred Kyle, the great Fredini. I'm coming to you from Funny Garbage in Manhattan, where we have our new makerspace, and I've got my Scanatron 3000 scanning rig set up behind me. So we've been doing 3D scans all evening. I just did somebody doing a handstand, which was a real adventure. So let me see if I can show you that scan.
Awesome.
This is really computers talking to computers. Here's my scan of, hold on, where is?
Can't see it, Fred. There we go.
Let's see. Can you see the screen?
We can now. That looks awesome.
Fred, that's hilarious. So these scans that Fred does, they turn out really, really wonderfully, and there's a whole write-up, an example about how to do these yourself and build the rig that Fred uses in this current issue. So Fred, we'll hear about that in a minute or two, but let's jump ahead and...
I'm going to go on, we'll come back.
Great, sounds good. So John Abella is also with us. Hey, John.
Hey guys, this is John Abella, and I'm actually here at home in Pennsylvania. I just had a new baby boy, so I wasn't able to get up to the big Philly meetup where I know a lot of people were meeting tonight to talk about printers and join the hangout and you know, check out the new issue.
Great. Well, congratulations. That's very, very awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Matt Stoltz, say hello to everyone. I know you've got a few people with you as well.
Howdy. So I'm here at AS220 Labs in Providence, Rhode Island. across town from the new Make office, and we're here with some of the 3D printing Providence crew, and we're going to be scanning some people a little later on tonight with the new 3D System Sense scanner. So it'll be a good time.
Very cool, very cool. I'm excited. Providence is a hotbed of maker activity, so this is it's great to have.
We're making it happen.
Yeah. We've got the Hack Manhattan group here as well. Say hi, everybody. They're coming in from an active makerspace over in Manhattan. So there's a big crew, and we're excited to hear about everything that's going on with them.
And we're trying to be quiet enough that we can come on mic and talk to you guys a little bit. So I'm Matt.
I'm Casey Hultgren. We were both testers in the hardware issue.
I want Dave to introduce this space to everybody. He's our
Hey everybody.
champion.
Hey, yeah, great to be with you guys from Hack Manhattan here. We have a lot of people here. Normally we do a 3D Thursday every Thursday evening, right in the center of Manhattan, and we have a bunch of 3D printers here, all different types, try and get people involved, and really looking forward to seeing what came out in the reviews. Can't wait.
Beautiful. And then Tom Burtonwood coming in from Chicago. Tom, say hi.
Howdy. Well, technically speaking, I'm coming in from Oak Park, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. I'm at my home and studio, and yeah, here I am, one of the testers.
Super. Thanks, Tom. So, Anna, let's jump in and hear a little bit about how the testing worked for this issue. What'd you put together for everybody?
Sure. Well, we're really excited about this issue. So we went out and we tested every printer we could get our hands on. You know, we asked everyone to send us any unit that would be available for consumers by the time that the publication went out mid-November. So if it was going to be sold to consumers by then, it was available. We tried to get it. So we got 23 different 3D printers. We went through and did some extensive tests on them. And basically, we saw a few basic trends this year in 3D printing, which were interesting. We saw a lot of small and affordable printers. There were 6 printers in our tests that were under $1,000. And that was really interesting. Prior to that, most printers had been kind of in the $2,000 range, typically. So bringing that price down is huge, especially something like the PrinterBot Simple, you know, which is about $400, $399 assembled, and about $299 as a kit. So, you know, there's a wide range of pricing in the printers this year, all the way from over $3,000, you know, down to that $399 price point. We saw, you know, some printers that are now printing in liquid resin, so stereolithography is now available on your desktop. That was huge. And we saw some Delta robots now making their way onto the consumer 3D printing market. There are several on the market right now, but we only tested the Mini Castle. We know that there are others out there, but they weren't available for our testing at the time of testing. We're really excited about a couple developments in 3D printing, specifically auto levelers. The Up Plus 2 had a great auto leveler, auto calibration feature, as did the Mini Castle. One of the difficulties in getting started with 3D printing, or even maintaining a 3D printer, is, you know, getting your bed level so that the prints stick. And auto levelers really help that. If you search the internet, there's a lot of videos of you know, printers printing on a very uneven bed, and the prints are still coming out. So that's quite amazing, and we look forward to seeing more of those type of improvements from the manufacturers. So that's basically what we saw. You know, the way that we tested this year, we really focused on which printer is right for, you know, you the consumer, you the reader. So there are new printers coming on the market every day. Every day there's a new Kickstarter. Someone's building a new kit, someone's building a new assembled model. There's so many to choose from. How do you know which one is right for you? So as we went through the testing, this was really what we focused on. A variety of different users, from designers who are really much more comfortable in software than in hardware. You know, they may make things, but it's usually abstract. Someone else will actually fabricate it. As those type of people are coming on now and being able to fabricate things themselves, the type of printer that they want might be different than someone who is a tinkerer and really desires a printer that's hackable and modifiable, wants to tweak it, wants to change it, wants to change out extruders and motion controllers and everything else. And then we saw, you know, the category of what we were calling maker, which are people that are more interested in just having their tools perform and not necessarily tweaking a lot, but getting in there a bit. So that was kind of how we went about the testing moving forward. And those were the basic trends that we saw.
The auto leveling is one that I think is particularly interesting because it's really like it's one of those components that makes 3D printers that much more usable for a mainstream community.
Well, and for the rest of us as well. I mean, none of us want to level our bed often.
Absolutely.
I mean, Matt, you tested the Up Plus 2. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, when I came in, I wanted to really get my hands on some printers that I didn't really have experience with, and there were a lot of them I already did have some experience with, and so really I was drawn to the Up Plus 2 to begin with because it's something I had not had hands on with, and I was really excited about the auto leveling feature. And when I tried it out, actually used it and found how well it works, how it does really go in, map your bed, and compensate for one of these problems that, as you stated, is one of the biggest hang-ups that people have when getting started with 3D printing. I was really quite pleasantly surprised at how well it worked and how that completely shifted that paradigm of that problem. So when I was done with it, I did write the review on that and was really happy with that machine. It does have its drawbacks of being very closed source, only having very tied down tool chain with it. But for a lot of people, that's not really going to matter. It's a workhorse machine that it can calibrate itself, and when you hit print, you can expect it to actually run. So,
and those are excellent points. And you brought up the being a first timer on the machine. We had a lot of testers that have extensive experience with 3D printing, but we also had a real variety in our group. We had some people that had tons of experience, that lead 3D printer build groups, that teach at tech shops, that teach digital fabrication, that are artists and designers. So our testers were diverse as well as the printers that we tested. And as Matt brought up, we did try to have everybody be a first-timer on the printer that they tested. So even though they may not be new to 3D printing, the printer may be new to them. And so they could really evaluate it as a first-time user would out of the box.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the key things that helps make doing an evaluation fair and objective, and also fun. Which obviously we had a great time with these tests, and it's fun to see the entire, or not the entire, but a big group of the testers together here because it's been a lot of laughs just getting the meetup set up before we went live on air.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of the testers, as we noted, at Hack Manhattan, Matt and Casey. I'd love to hear about what their experiences were doing the guide, the testing, but also any of the stuff that they're working on right now beyond that. Let's let them get set up and unmute themselves. You guys there?
Yeah, we're
here.
Great.
Awesome.
Do you wanna dive in there?
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things is there's only one or two names on each of those reviews, but the truth about the weekend is that we had our hands on lots of different printers, and besides having that initial out-of-the-box experience with one or two printers, we really relied on each other to get a wider, broader perspective because we are different in our ideas of what makes a good printer and what printer is good for us. So I think that's also good to know that when you're reading the magazine that those reviews were peer edited by at least 3 or 4 other people who have their opinions in there too.
And it was something of a magic playground there because we were just about nobody has had access to that many printers during that snapshot. So it was a rare time for us to run over and be like, what's it thinking about the extruder in this machine? And then just run physically across the room. Oh, look, and they're doing this a little bit different, and they're all doing these things right now. So we got a chance to get a flavor of things happening across the board, as well as focusing on the ones that we were each sort of assigned to try to approach as a new experience.
That's an excellent point. I mean, we had a lot of cross collaboration and cross-pollination throughout the process. So we had lots of different people on lots of different machines. This year we really focused on, as I say in the intro to the buy-in guide, that Christmas came early. So we did our Christmas morning tests a week ahead of the actual shootout weekend so that we could talk to customer support, so that we could get printers dialed in. So if they're having a real issue, we could kind of take care of that before the weekend, or at least acknowledge this was an issue. And then we all came together. We all worked on it. Lots of people were on lots of different printers. People had the opportunity to come back to a printer. So it was a really excellent workflow in that we all got to talk to each other. We took breaks. We sat down and talked together, exactly as Matt described. You know, what do you think about this? How does it compare to this other model or feature?
One thing that's kind of unique about this experience is we got to all kind of give each printer its due and you know, give it a lot of love to make sure that it could do sort of the best that it could do. We weren't necessarily sitting back going like, well, it's out of the box, we hit go, it didn't go, you know, knock that one off the table. We spent a lot of time making sure that each one had a chance, you know, maybe the documentation wasn't done. That's, you know, in a lot of cases, these machines were, you know, still pretty new to the world. Maybe drivers that were actively being written that weekend and being sent to us in little pieces. So we got to, you know, pull all the heads together of everybody there and try to, you know, get each machine up and running and to see what kind of magic it could do.
Exactly. I mean, we love printers. We wanted to give every printer a chance, and we wanted to try and get every printer to perform. And so, you know, we really made an effort. It wasn't just, you know, a short amount of time and then leave it. If someone couldn't get it running, we put somebody else on it. You know, we just went through the chain, and we all gave it our best try for everything.
So, Matt, you and Casey both have pretty distinct backgrounds where you come from and your approach and introduction to 3D printing. Can you tell us real quick a little bit about yourselves?
Sure. I came to 3D printing for my job. I work as a scenic designer in the theater industry, and so I started building scale models with Thingomatic back in 2011. And so I definitely come at it from the designer perspective, and having hands-on experience with 3D printers for a couple years now, I'm not a newbie, but I definitely have things that I look for in a machine, and so I'm an advocate for those the designer types who have a job that they want to get done, and you know, maybe have some technical skills, but really want to concentrate on software and design.
And now she's an expert in fixing these too. It's kind of awesome.
I do.
Yeah, we had some of those ridiculous conversations, like, you know, really, you know, just about, you know, out-and-out brawls about, you know, certain fine points of how to approach, like, leveling, temperature, that kind of thing.
We definitely started bringing the hacker out in Casey, though. By the end of the weekend, she was definitely coming on board with the more open source stuff and everything, and getting excited about it. It was fun to see that happen.
But sometimes it also takes the non-hacker to say, you know what, guys, you're not fixing this problem. Why don't we call tech support?
Right.
And get it fixed. So there's different ways to fix things.
Well, and that's something we also wanted to test. We also wanted to test support. You know, we're over a weekend. You know, what happens when you're working over a weekend and you're trying to get your printer dialed in with your kids or just by yourself, and it's not working.
We're hearing a little bit of
feedback there.
Sorry. What you're saying about support is, I mean, it's totally true. It was it was exciting. You know, we in some cases, you know, we didn't necessarily need a lot of outside help, but we still tried it. Yeah. We reached out to folks because we wanted to see what that'd be like, and you know, God bless them, a lot of people were there for us at our odd hours and weekend times and helping us out, which is something I really believe in, because
it's huge.
I am doing a lot in the world of you know, public-facing stuff. I'm the director of community and sport at Adafruit with a background in I was the community manager for MakerBot from 2009 2012. So I have seen people grow with these machines and figure out how to solve them, and I've seen when they've been very difficult to use, and it's just getting really exciting.
Well, and that's an excellent point as well, that they aren't necessarily consumer appliances like a microwave, that sometimes your extruder gets clogged and you have to clean it out. And it's helpful to have support tell you, all you need to do is, back up your filament or try and clean some burned PLA out of a nozzle, or here's how you do that. Otherwise, you've got a machine that you might not know how to get any farther with. And, a lot of people come at this and they say, well, I'm interested in 3D printing, but what happens when something goes wrong with my machine? Is there anybody at the other end of the line to talk to? And so we try to note that in the reviews where possible, that if support was great, we said so. Great.
So we've also got we've got Matt in Providence, who's got a few people with him, I believe. Are you going to have Matt? Are you going to have people popping in to say hi? I know that you've got an active spot there.
Yeah, we actually have a kind of a low turnout, so there's a few of us here tonight. Our normal monthly meeting was last night, and I think a lot of people came out last night and didn't quite make it out tonight. We only have a few, but I can kind of swing around here and.
Hey guys. Hey. So Matt, I hear you've got a Sense 3D scanner over there from 3D Systems, and you're scanning some people.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun scanning people last night at our meeting. We were also playing Siege, the 3D printable desktop game of penny warfare last night. So it was a blast. If you haven't played Siege, print it out and get started. But people were quite distracted from that with us. Scanning people with the Sense, which everyone was very impressed with how easy it was to be able to pull off scans with the Sense. It works very similar to the way Connect and something like Reconstruct Me or Skinect works, but the software is much cleaner and much easier and for a user to use. With a couple clicks, you can really clean up and have a good looking scan. So we're going to break it out here tonight after we're done and scan some more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've got a little bit of scanner reviews in the magazine, but we're continuing to do our reviews online. So this is one I'm excited to see how it shapes up compared to the competition.
There'll be many more to come.
Yeah, it's a very quickly growing part of the 3D segment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, John, tell us about your feelings about and experiences with the test weekend. Any big surprises that jumped out at you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do have a Sense on the way also, so I just thought that was kind of funny. I suspect everybody on this call will have a Sense in the next couple weeks.
Pretty much.
I mean, after last year's shootout, to this year, I think one of the biggest changes I saw was, everybody just got so much better at documentation. I mean, last year it was, sort of this war of attrition, and everybody's documentation was really just needed a lot of help last year. And we told everybody it needed it. We wrote about everybody's documentation not being great. And this year, I mean, people just came out of nowhere with really, really good stuff. I mean, we actually just Andy and I actually taught a printer build workshop down here in Wilmington, Delaware, in October, and we actually used some of the open documentation that Lulzbot put out for their TAS for one of the printers that we actually reviewed. Just the docs are so good, and it's really pretty impressive how far people came in a year.
So, John, tell us a little bit more about that. So it's really almost a primer on Slicer, right? I mean,
yeah,
that documentation from Lulzbot is useful for everyone, that no matter what printer they have.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It other than the first couple chapters that are specific to how do you unpack your TAS and configure it and things like that. After that, there's a whole chapter just called Slicer in Depth, and it's usable by anybody that's using Slicer, and it's really good. I mean, it's got not just screenshots, but I mean they even go into here's what your first layer height should look like, and here's what it should look like. So it's it's really helpful. I mean it's and everybody came through like that. Everybody's docs were just a lot better. And it's funny you mentioned the printers aren't like appliances yet. Sometimes the nozzle gets clogged. I think this is the first year where we actually had people's documentation that told you what to do if the nozzle got clogged.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's come a long way, and I think that's going to make it just a big difference, especially for people who are new to all of it.
It's fantastic to see how far it's come in just a year.
Yeah, definitely.
And so if anybody wants that primer on Slicer, you can download it from the Lulzbot website. They have their documentation available online. So if you want to learn more just about how to use it, check it out.
Yeah, it's really a fantastic piece of documentation. So Chris, you do a lot of work at Tech Shop, and I know you participated for the weekend as well. So what about your experiences with the shootout? What jumped out to you?
Yeah, so it was actually a really cool experience. It was my first time. I wasn't at the first shootout, so it was actually just a real pleasure to be around so many smart 3D printers in that group. So that was really exciting. I was like, holy moly, I'm around like the smartest 3D printing group ever. So that was really exciting. But yeah, so we used to teach on the MakerBot at the Tech Shop in San Francisco, and then we kind of moved towards the Type A machines, and as you know, Type A machines was they facilitated the Tech Shop dream of build your dream, or their mission statement, build your dream here. And so we teach on the Type A Series 1, and it was such a reliable printer, and I'm sure the reviewers can talk about that. And so that was really exciting to see, just for me, how the Type A machine had kind of moved from its current state to this newer kind of Octoprint, having distributed and network sort of connectivity. So the difference in 1 year, like everybody's saying, was pretty immense. And I think you could see a range of printers as well from the whole set, that some were definitely more mature than others, but people are still coming in, or new printers are coming in, and more mature printers are getting better and better. So at the Tech Shop, from an educational standpoint, like, it's really important that printers are easy to use. So I tried to look at the printers that I played with, from how quickly can I get started in printing, and then also, so I have a kind of a soft spot for printers that do both the slicing programs together with the actual.
Oh, looks like we lost Chris. But Chris had an excellent.
Go ahead, Anna.
Oh, no worries. But Chris had some excellent points. We've seen a lot of change in just 1 year, and this is just backing up what John and Bella said. Things have changed so rapidly in a year, and there's some things that we'd really like to see implemented in next year's printers, and I really hope that we see a lot more auto levelers, a lot more untethered printers, and a lot more PLA fans coming up in the years to come. So we'll see what next year brings. It's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. So let's check in with Anderson, because he was overseeing one of the really interesting types of printers that I'm fascinated with, which is the resin stereolithography style. Andy, tell us about the Form 1 and the B9.
Yeah, so in particular, I was focusing more on the Form 1, and Eric Chu was looking over the B9. But the big benefit here is new materials and new applications in general. The way that instead of using filament, we're using liquid materials, which offers very high resolution prints. And it was just really interesting to see, the consumer level of this kind of type of printer emerge now at this point in time. And like, our first initial offerings for the consumer level are truly really amazing machines. It's going to definitely open up a lot of opportunities for designers and makers.
That's great.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, you do a lot of work with the resin-based printers and your personal work and academic work. So tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess one of the reasons I got tapped to talk about the resin stuff was because I was building my own, which I guess is also featured in the magazine, the Open3D project. And I guess initially it was focused on resin materials. I also used it for bioprinting research at Rice University this past summer, where we were swapping out photocurable resins for biocompatible materials like hydrogels. And the whole idea there is essentially 3D printing allows you to create really complex structures, and the method such as SLA allows you to create even more complex structures and build around constraints such as overhang that filament printers really struggle on. So, one of the things I was doing there was creating the branching structure that would pretty much be the skeleton for a blood network that cells grow around, and then we create organs that way. Because, one of the big issues with growing organs is essentially cell survival after the fact, and that's because of lack of blood flow. So if you can create, I guess, the vasculature, or essentially the subskeleton for blood networks with a biocompatible material, you can grow cells around and then break it down and pump blood in, and you get, cell survival at a crazy rate. That's way more than you wanted to know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. The entire team, as Chris was saying, really is some of the smartest, most leading-edge people in the 3D printing community. So, obviously, looking on biological aspects of 3D printing is an example of that. Very, very cool. Well, thank you. Anna, did you get scanned by Fred at World Maker Faire?
I did at Maker Faire New York. I most certainly did. It's up on Thingiverse.
Okay, yeah. There's an entire collection of the Maker Faire staff that was present at Maker Faire New York, and
we all have to make mashups of Anna now.
No. There's a bunch of us. Who's the What's It's got scanned, and Tony Boozer got scanned. Lots of people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Fred made a little 3DP All-Stars collection that you can check out.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
Yeah, Fred, are you back there? Can you hear us? I'd love to. I see some scanning happening. You can, if you're Craig, if you're able to pop over to Fred's camera manually, you can see a live scan happening where the great Fredini is making yet another 3D person scan. And the cool thing about this project is that this is something that you can build the mechanism needed to do a high quality figurine scan yourself, and the whole write-up is in the current Ultimate Guide to 3D Printing. And the results
also
are
online.
And it's online. Yeah, you can
check it out.
You can find over the course of the next few weeks, you can find all the reviews, the projects from this issue.
So you could build it this weekend if you wanted to.
And you should, because it's
and
very fun.
You should, because it's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. We've got one that's just about complete here in the office, so we're going to start scanning all of our guests. I think that should be a requirement to pass through the Make office entryway.
We'll have to build one too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So this has really been a fun project for me. I love the 3D printing space, and I've learned a lot just from being part of watching the team and all the stuff that you oversaw for testing weekend. Really fantastic. And I want to thank everybody that was part of the entire setup here. Let's see here. We've got one other thing that's really exciting. We had a giveaway project that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. People have been submitting to enter our giveaway for a PrinterBot Simple. So we're about to announce the winner of that, but before we do it, I do want to jump in with Tom Burtonwood, who's got lots of fun stuff to tell us about from Chicago, who does a lot of artwork. So Tom, I know you've been waiting patiently over there.
No, it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah. Let's hear about
your latest scanning project.
No, I mean, after Andy talking about the printing vascular structures, I don't really know that I've got that much to follow on with. I mean, my background in all of this is as an artist and as an educator, so I think I'm more in the designer camp, maybe, perhaps. I like machines that just work, and I will admit that I run my machines till they break, and then I fix them or calibrate them, whichever one comes first. So I've been doing a lot of stuff, 3D scanning with 123D Catch, and working at the Art Institute, the museum, and then at the school. And so I was really curious just to play with some different machines. I'd had, a lot of experience with the replicators, and a little bit of experience with some printer bots, and I was really keen to get my hands on the printer bot Simple, which is the machine that I reviewed. I just loved it. It was a really great machine, and as I wrote in the review, I thought it was a really awesome piece of equipment for educators. It's very affordable. It gives anybody that uses it really has to get hands-on experience with it. So I was really pleased to play with that. And most of all, it was just great to sort of be part of this big crew and hang out and meet everybody and sort of just connect. I mean, it was a really amazing experience. I really got a lot out of it.
And Tom,
Fantastic.
Tell everyone about you've got some experience working with 3D printers in the retail arena, which is really interesting as well, because that's a new development altogether.
Yeah. No, for real. So earlier in the year, I helped to co-found a retail experiment, I guess, called the 3D Printer Experience here in Chicago. It's a consumer-facing 3D printing store. It's located in the River North area of Chicago, so if you do come to the city, that's sort of like in the sort of touristy kind of hotel neighborhood just north of the city, across the river. And they've got a bunch of really cool equipment. They've got a bunch of 3D printers. They've got a really, one of the things that really separates the 3D printer experience from a lot of the sort of retail 3D printing operations, they have an EOS SLS machine, so a laser sinterer for nylon and stuff. So you can get stuff professionally done there, like you would at Shapeways or at a service printer. And you can also, check out more sort of, I guess, consumer machines like the Replicator 2s and the Up Minis, and I think they have the Fabster machines now, the German NetFab ones, which are pretty cool. And then they do classes and stuff and all kinds of cool stuff. So that was a really great experience helping those guys to get set up. And it's cool. So that was really, really fun time.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So Tom helped work on the PrinterBot Simple, and I think it's a great time to announce the winner of the PrinterBot Simple giveaway.
I think it's a great time for that.
Yeah, we had 1,650 people that submitted for the giveaway, and we've drawn one name by random, and the winner is Sean O'Shea. Sean, congratulations. We will be contacting you by email, and you will enjoy your PrinterBot Simple, which is winner of the best value printer for this year's roundup of printer reviews, test reviews.
That's right.
Yeah. So again, thanks everybody for being part of a great testing team and helping put together a phenomenal issue. I'm really excited about this one. This is on newsstands right now. You can also get it through makezine.com. You can also go to makershed.com to get a PDF version or print version of the copy, and enjoy it. It's packed cover to cover with 3D printing reviews, projects, profiles, pointers, everything you need to know to be a wizard with 3D printing.
Exactly. And while you're at the Maker Shed, check out the sale on filament that we're having right now. So it's about, 30% off? So it's down to $30 per kilogram, I believe.
It's a good value.
Yeah, it's this week only, so check it out.
Yeah, perfect to start making some holiday ornaments and presents for everybody. Great.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, and Anna, thank you again for really doing a phenomenal job with pulling the tests together. It's been great.
Well, I look forward to testing in the future. We're going to be expanding our reviews online and doing a lot more than once a year. So look for the reviews at Mixin, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, great. Thanks, everyone. Have a fun evening.
Bye, guys.